Hey guys, this is the second episode of the Voxelization. In this episode, we're going to go over Boolean operations within Zbrush. One in the fact of a voxel Boolean situation, and the other with just simply a shape to a shape. And then also unique cutting abilities and glance cutting within Zbrush. Alright, anyway, so the first one we're going to go through is we're going to just go through regular Booleaning. So in Boolean, if you see over here on the right, we have basically basic Boolean operations. We have union, subtract, intersect, and that's their paint tool. And so basically we're just going to be working with subtract. You can further and do the union. The union's pretty simple, but the intersection can be a bit nerve-wracking. Well, first of all, we're going to take our first bunny here, and we're going to go down to geometry, and we're going to go to dynameshing. We're going to take the blur to 0. Always do this, and I typically do 256 for the resolution, and then I just hit dynamesh. And as you can see now, we can back up real quick. So that's the dynamesh, and we can back up, and you can see this is the original mesh. Now it looks like we lowered the resolution. As a matter of fact, I think we did. I mean, it's sitting at a total point count of 133. When we dynamesh it, it looks like we're dropping to 6500, which is okay. And if you look really closely, you can see that this polygon distribution is pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with that. And so now, anyways, what we can do now is, let's go ahead and delete that old bunny. And we can duplicate that bunny, and on our second bunny, we can start to move him around. So let's just take him down. Let's try to get rid of those legs, and maybe make his face a little weird right there. So we're just going to kind of take that out of the original bunny. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go down here to polygroups, and then we need to click group as dynamesh sub. Alright, and you see it kind of change color. If it changed color, you kind of did it right. In some cases, that's a gray. Anyways, and now we're going to go back up to subtool. We're going to switch to the top bunny. Make sure you flip on the second layer your subtract, and now merge that layer down into the subtract layer like this. Hit OK. And now you would just hold down your simple masking tool and drag, which is basically redoing the dynamesh. Alright, and as you see here, it has taken out that bunny. Now it's a pretty good one because they were both dynameshed. Typically this is what I like to do, but as you see here, we're getting some wonky results because of the edge. You know, you can get rid of that a little bit with one of its new features in deformation, which is polished by features right here, which will get you a little bit, and you won't lose volume, but and so you can get rid of a little bit of that jaggedness. As you see, we have these kind of artifacts of the bunny that are kind of floating out here. So let's just go over right now how we can start to glance cut out pieces that could possibly create a figuration of the glance cutting. So we're going to go back to our draw. We're going to hold down Control and Shift, and that's going to bring up our selection tool. Well, within the selection tool, we can go over and we can see at the very end the trim tools. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use the trim lasso. Any of these trims work pretty well. Actually, matter of fact, I'm going to use the trim curve just because it gives us more information. So in the trim curve, you always release and then put it back, or it just keeps the setting. So you see we're in a curve right now. And so the way this works is you click one place, and now it's activated. So you can release, Shift and Control. But you also do see that the slicing is towards the model, and we want it away from the model. So as long as you have the mouse held down, you can hit Alt as you click, and it will start to add a control point. And at any point, if you think that is wrong, you can move it, by holding down the space bar. And as you see here, we're going to clip off the ears, Boom, the ears are clipped off. See, it does a nice little thing. And so it matters where you start from. You see, this is towards it, so that's not what we want to do. We're just going to, as you see, that's wrong. So if you start from this side, you can see it's working more correctly. Now, from that first point, you can organize it and say if you were over here, you can move the thing by holding the space bar and then reposition it if you wanted to change your mind. But again, if you start the curve by hitting Alt and making your control points, see, and then this is the result of using 3D Coat, because we are having issues with getting this to work correctly. Yeah, see, it's up, so he just needed a little more. So if you just clip a little off the plane there, you can get that extra piece. So there you go. So now we have that bunny that's kind of deformed, defamiliarized. We can polish those features a little bit more. And then let's, for instance, we can also duplicate that, make a voxelization of that second layer, and kind of use that as a tool. Say like 96. Oh, that's a little too big. Let's say 48. Alright. And then on that layer, you can begin to glance cut that object out and start to peel him in. Now, the only problem I have with the software is what you'll see very soon when I'm doing this. So if you can't kind of tell on this one, but what happens a lot is that there's a bubbling of the voxelization. I mean, not the voxelization, of the cut, because it's trying to rationalize those new polygons, you know. But something like this. I mean, this is just a tutorial. This isn't exactly what we're doing. Well, there, you can kind of see it there. You can kind of see a bubbling situation that's going on there because it's rationalizing those polygons a certain level, which you can kind of fix sometimes. You know, we're trying to do only cuts, though. We're not trying to actually sculpt it on this at all. Anyways, this video is also getting long. Now, you can also say, you can start to voxelize, you can start to remove, for instance, let's do an intersection. Let's call it with an intersection. Let's see, what is this first bunny? Alright, so we're going to go here, and we're going to intersect with the second one. So again, we go down, polygroups, group by Dynamesh, subtool, flip to that one, merge down, re-Dynamesh. And as you see, we're starting to get some voxelization within it, but really wonky, as you can see. Now, one method of fixing that is when we do the voxelization, say 48. Oh, and by the way, another little tidbit is once you voxelize and remesh a layer, that layer keeps the settings of that voxelization. So here we'll voxelize that, and then we'll maybe we'll go with him and clip a little off of him just so we can have a differential. So let's just clip. Just glance cut him off. You see, actually, you can kind of see it there. You see the bubbling that's occurring right here? That's problematic, and that's kind of why we flipped over to 3D Coat for a little bit. And then even that stuff in the middle there, as you see, it's not. Yeah. So now we're going to flip back to everybody. Intersection, back to everybody. Well, first thing we're going to do too is go down to geometry. We're going to Dynamesh the same settings, 0 and blur, 256. And we're going to Dynamesh it. And you see now that becomes a nice Dynamesh. Now you lose the cubicness of the voxels, but it's still basically the same thing. So now, again, we're going to merge down, Okay, and now we see the kind of intersection of the two, which isn't too great. Anyways, that's one methodology within Zbrush to start to Boolean, glance cut, and do those operations. In the next tutorial, we're going to start going over 3D Coat and its operations. Anyways, I'll talk to you then. Bye.